Hello everyone, welcome back. Today's video is going to be my top 5 tips on how to start a no buy or a low buy. And for me personally, it's been a journey. It's not something that I just woke up and said, today is the day, no buy, for the rest of the year. It definitely took some time, and these tips are going to help you if you collect nail polishes, makeup, skincare, anything that's a collector's item. These tips are going to work for you, I guarantee you. So it might be a bit common sense, but it really does take some time, some finesse and some effort to get down to the gritty of it and to really, hold your belt and hold your discipline to not continue to spend money just frivolously. So step number 1, just stop. Completely stop what you're Stop going to Walmart, stop going to Ulta, stop going to Shoppers, stop going to all the Sephora, Mac, whatever store, wherever you purchase what you enjoy purchasing, stop doing it. Just stop. Sometimes you tell yourself after work, I'm going to take a swing to see if they have that new collection at Walmart or something, and it kind of just becomes a routine in your daily habit and in your daily life that you happen to be going into Walgreens or the different stores in the US, all around the world, whatever it is that you have the habit of going to these discounted shops, or JC Penney's and TJ Maxx and all of that. Just stop doing it. Stop buying, stop. And stop going to get it. That also means stop looking online as well. It will really help you to not be tempted, because I know it's so easy to shop online and to look online. So just stop doing all of the research behind collections, all of that. Just stop. And you'll notice when you take that moment to yourself, your mind will start to catch up on what it is that you currently have already. And sometimes, not all the time, I'm speaking from personal experience, it gets really hard because your natural, it's sort of like weaning off of something. You go into this withdrawal that you need to continuously do it, and you then, and only then after a couple of weeks, you realize that it is a habit. It's a habit, and once you realize it's a habit, it means that you can replace it with a different habit, right? So the first key point is to just stop looking in stores, stop looking online, and it's going to help you to just sort of grab yourself and sit yourself down. So this is the first step. So now that you've stopped looking and shopping and all that, you have to now organize things. Now the best way and the easiest way for me personally, and I'll just use nail polishes and makeup as a reference, but you can obviously tailor this to whatever it is that you're trying to curb your spending on. And in reference to makeup, divide it up into categories. Do the foundations, the bronzers, the concealers, the blushes, divide them all up into categories, and that way when it's laid out in front of you on your bed or your floor or anything, you can see what it is that you're spending most of your money on. So you might have you might be really strict with your foundation because it expires. You don't want to put that on your face because you don't want to get breakouts or anything. You're very careful about that. But then you're buying 50 highlighters, right? So you can sort of see when you just sit and stand and look at it, when you divide it up into categories, what it is that you have a weakness for. And then sort of the second layer to that is to count. And you can do an inventory. I love to see makeup inventories on YouTube. It kind of makes you accountable, and you can actually see what it is that you have. For nail polishes, there are 2 schools of thought here. You can either divide it up by brand, which I know a lot of us just likes to see. We just like to see the bottles all look the same on our shelf. Or you can do it by color. Now there's nothing wrong with either one. I've done it both ways in my collection, and I think I'm gonna probably get towards the latter one in the future, because really, when you think about it, you really look for the color more than you do the brand, right? So you can divide it up in that way and just lay it out. So put all your OPIs, all your SCs, all your Zoyas, all your China Glaze, and then you can sort of see which brand it is that you're more favorable to. Also, you can also go a little bit further than that and do it into color categories within brands, so it's a rainbow, sort of like a rainbow effect within each brand. And if you really want to do it in a strict way, based off of the latter one I described, you can do it all in a rainbow. It doesn't matter what brand. You start from the lightest shares to the deepest darkest, and then you can sort of see what you have in dupes, and you can take those out, then swatch them and see if they're too similar to keep, and that way you can sort of like condense, right? My third tip, to declutter. You see so many declutter videos now on YouTube. Actually, I think the person who began this is Pink So Foxy. I will link to her channel in the box below, because Christine was the first person I saw do declutter videos when she went against the grain. Like, she was in a different part in her life, a different stage in her life, and everyone was collecting many moons and years ago, and she was decluttering, and now it's sort of the trend to buy all this, have it, and then declutter, right? You see it on my channel too. We're all guilty of it. But the third step really is to, when you have everything out in front of you, so you've stopped buying what you need, you know, you're addicted to buy, you have divided up into categories. It's within different sections. Now you have foundations, you have bronzers, you have it by nail polishes, different brands, OPI here, SE here, or different color categories. So now it's all in front of you. You pick and choose. Now you go and you declutter. So for makeup, the way I do my declutter is by many different criteria. One, the first one is actually how old is it? Is it already expired? Because it doesn't matter if the shade is right for me, or how much I have left in it to use. If the shade, if it's expired, I don't want that on my face, right? So you definitely need to declutter that out. So you go by expiration date, and then you go by really what is best suited for you in terms of finish. Do you have dry skin and you wear matte foundations? Nail polishes, maybe you didn't even realize that your favorite nail polish is like dried out and you can't even revive it, so you have to throw it out, or you have to, you know, send it to Zoya for if they exchange. So it's important to just kind of like do a general view that way. For blushes, let's say for example, because when you learn makeup and you learn your face, you then learn the colors that you were buying because someone else you enjoyed watching, that's their favorite, so you bought it. It doesn't mean that it's good for you too, right? So now that you've stopped buying, you've gone through each category and you've, you know, sort of separate them so they're not in just this one giant box or anything, and you've decluttered through it. The fourth tip that I have is to rearrange your collection. This might seem so common sense, but you wouldn't believe how helpful it is to rearrange your collection, to sort of put it into perspective, to realize, okay, now that you have everything divided, you declutter through it, to keep them in those categories and to rearrange sort of, let's say for example, you tend to do seasonal nail polishes, so you only wear brights in summer. You know, keep those out in front of you so you know you're gonna wear those. If you have it in a drawer tucked away in even rainbow order, maybe that doesn't work for you. You have to have, you need to figure out what it is that works best for your personality. Part of this is to make it work for you. It has to be functional, it has to be in front of you, and it's going to be easy to access. So you know if you're going to go through your drawers, you can grab that blush, you can grab that nail polish, right? So rearranging your collection to best suit your lifestyle and your needs is going to mean that you're going to get the best products that you enjoy at all times, every single day. The final tip is to actually create a budget, and you will notice that certain items are more expensive than others. So for example, with makeup, foundations are a lot more expensive, let's say, or eyeshadow palettes are a lot more expensive than one concealer. So it will help if you have a budget for each category, or you can just lump it all together and say, only $300 a year you want to spend on makeup. For me, the biggest budget that I have is on skincare, because I prefer to spend my money on my skin versus makeup, polishes, etc. So for me, that works out best, as well as perfumes. I love a good perfume, so that would be a bigger budget. And what will help is to sort of let it carry over. So if you don't spend a certain amount on each category, you get to carry that over to the next year. So it just kind of accumulates. It's a bit of a game, but it's fun and you get to save, but you're also getting the best of the best. Notice when I did this in my own collection, I have been enjoying things so much more. I've been enjoying my makeup a whole lot more. I'll give you an example. I recently changed my lipstick collection from all brand to actually colors. So all my reds are in one area, all my pinks, and I noticed that there are just some reds I haven't used in a long time, and then there's others I know I'm not going to use, so immediately I can declutter it. I don't need to wait for an occasion to declutter, like for a video or something. So it's really helpful. It's showing me exactly what I have in my collection and what I don't need to get tempted by if I walk into a store or I go to an event and I see something, I'm like, ooh, that would be really nice and I would love to own that. I don't get tempted because I know I had a similar shade, I didn't wear it, I decluttered it. So it really helps, and I hope this video was helpful to you. I know this is really simple. I don't know if it's going to help anyone, but I do hope. Keep in mind, this is just to give you a beginning, an idea, a rough sketch into how you can begin, you know, to grab yourself by the belts and your wallets and, you know, start to save money where you need to save it towards bigger goals than just, you know, the hobby that you enjoy. It's nice to enjoy it, but it's also really important to be responsible and disciplined. The journey is different for all of us. I certainly don't think I could have do this like 4 years ago. I was a completely different person. But you do evolve and your taste does evolve, and I mentioned this in a video a while ago. Every day that you're alive is a special day, so don't keep anything for special occasions really. You should just enjoy your life and live it to its fullest. Live your best life. I should make that my slogan this year, because really that's how I feel. I hope this video was helpful. I know it was very general. It was meant to be general, but it was meant to sort of give you the beginning guide. For me, I'm really very much here in this space of, you know, just keeping things that I love around me, not keeping it just to keep it. So I feel like for me personally, this is just a personal opinion, like I can still love this as a hobby, but it doesn't mean that I have to have every shade of every brand or every limited edition item, you know? I just prefer to be carefree and live happy, but be very mindful in what it is that I decide that happiness is. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful more than anything. I appreciate your time. I'll see you in the next video.